Our purpose in life is to seek knowledge every single day, then turn around and pass the torch of knowledge on to someone else. If you want to leave a legacy, seek knowledge and pass the torch. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So every time I come on here, I feel like for the recent past, you have heard me say, "Hey, I'm back. I'm back." It's absolutely nuts, and if that's how you felt, that is absolutely fair, because these episodes are like super far apart, and that's definitely not what the intention is. The goal is to be bringing the Pass the Torch podcast audience content. I mean, the goal for 2019 was 5 days a week. And did we meet that? No. I will tell you right now, being a startup founder is and not a full-time startup founder, but doing it part-time while you have a full-time job, it has proven to be a challenge. Everybody's like, yeah, no, no kidding, right? But I've learned so much, and I think at one point in this year, so it's October, I think around mid-September, I probably, no kidding, burnt out. I got physically sick, and I didn't even go to work. Probably not for 1 day, but for 2 days. I think it was a little bit before that. It might have been September, August, but it was recent. And I consider myself physically fit. I consider myself mentally sound, and it was and I'm blessed to be able to say those things. But when you hit burnout as a founder, or it doesn't really matter if you're a startup founder, if you're a mom, if you're having a hard time at work, you get to a certain point where your body tells you to sit the heck down. And that's what mine did. I thought I was pacing myself correctly, but what you realize is when you're doing so much, there's really no such thing as pacing yourself. That aspect, if you're really trying to get everything done, if you're doing a good job at work, and if you are, I talked to a few people, if you are a full-time employee anywhere, your startup to your employer comes second. Really, they shouldn't even know. And I don't mean like you can't tell them, but they shouldn't see that, oh, well, your work performance is slipping because you're a startup founder. There should be no indications whatsoever that they wouldn't know. If you didn't tell them, they wouldn't know, that because you're bringing that same worth ethic that you bring to your startup to your everyday job. And that's the trick, man, because when you go to your startup, you're bringing that energy, you're bringing that passion, but what you realize is your best hours, and I'm not saying this to complain, this is I think we can have this type of conversation on Pass the Torch podcast, is you're bringing your best energy to your full-time job. So wherever you are, from 6 o'clock or even earlier, some of y'all get up like crazy, like, James, bro, your hours are early, man. Early. I thought I was getting up early. Getting up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to get to work. It's insane, and you have crazy long days. But if you're doing that at your full-time job, if on top of that, you are a startup founder, there's only 24 hours in a day. It's crazy. So, there's these people don't sleep. Well, that's not sustainable. Not in the long term. You can do that for days or weeks or maybe even a few months, but eventually your body's going to knock on your forehead and say, what in the world are you doing? And you're your answer is just going to be that you're passed out and you went to sleep at 4 in the afternoon. You don't wake up again until 10 o'clock the next day. Your body's going to tell you when you're doing too much. I like that. I'm probably butchering it. There's like a line And I think it was a Soldier Boy song. It's like, you're doing too much. You're not Superman, you know? And I think about that line all the time. Hold on, am I doing too much? Like, I know I'm an ambitious person. I know I'm an extremely driven person, and I have this conversation with my wife all the time. And that drive and that ambition can never come at the expense of my family. It can never come at the expense of my marriage. It can never come at the expense of, definitely not, my son, who is, he's 1 year old. It's I need to take care of that first, because what in the world? And I talked to my team about this. What are we doing all this for? We're working our butts off. The board has been with me through thick and thin. They've stood by Mentorch. They've stood by the vision, and I'm incredibly fortunate to have a team like that. The tech team, we've gone through burnout and people leaving, and I said this on a few other episodes, and I'm going to say this for the rest of my life. It's been an amazing adventure to watch as we've gone up, essentially the gamut and the roller coaster of what it means to build a tech startup. And we are not that Silicon Valley, hey, we had the opportunity to go quit school, quit our job. Nah, we got people who are in their 20s, early 20s. We have people in their late 20s and their early 30s and in their mid 30s. That's our team. It's not the 19-year-old college dropout. And I think it's inspiring for me. It's really cool. Like, I'm like, hold on, this is different. This is where a lot of other people, they can see themselves in our team. They're going to be able to say, well, they actually look like me. Like, I'm working a job right now. I have kids. I am, maybe you're thinking that you have to do a master's at your regular day job just so you can put food on the table, so you can get that promotion and take care of your family. Like, that's a lot. And so you're trying to figure out whether you should spend money on that startup, on the next obstacle, because you're bootstrapping, or not. And that's hard. And I have nothing but compassion and empathy for that mindset. It is hard doing that. And I'll tell you right now, the startup funding is not as easy as it used to be to come by. But here's the thing, I do know, if you can make all of this work as a startup founder, if you can, if you're not in a position to be able to quit your job, if you can figure out, set up a schedule, have the discipline, day after day, to build whatever it is, even if it's not a company. Think about this. And this is Pass the Torch Podcast, and I'm talking about being a startup founder, but I want to talk about people who just have an idea. If it's a paper, if it's a product, if it's a tool, if it's a workout, I don't care what it is, because at the end of the day, this podcast is really about mentorship. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. Okay, and mentorship is all about figuring out how you can connect to people who are already where you want to be and can take you there too, who can show you the way. Regardless of what you're trying to do, figure out a disciplined schedule, and every day inch yourself towards it. Even if you can't get to the full schedule that you would like, inch yourself towards it. If you can, the ideal method is taking massive action and just making it happen right then and there. But I want people to also recognize, if you're not able to overhaul everything at once, then taking those steps, those baby steps every single day, is better than not actually making progress every day, which means you're not making progress every week, which means you're not making progress month over month. And that stuff adds up, but so do inches. So it's incredibly important for people to really recognize that and celebrate that, and not say, if I can't give it everything, then I'm not going to do it at all. Um, build, build, whenever you can. And I'll tell you right now, on my adventure, even just this podcast, like I looked at the metrics, because that, I measure how the podcast is doing, and let's I'm transparent. In July we had very high downloads, and then I can literally look at our numbers and see how it slides down in August, September, and now in October, and it's because I wasn't being consistent. And I'm able to be very, very frank with myself, frank with the team, and I know, looking at the numbers right now, I'm pretty optimistic about that. Is if we execute and we recognize this is a marathon and understand burnout is real. If we execute, we take care of ourselves, we do what we need to do. These numbers, not only in the podcast, but translating also over to the metrics that we're measuring in this startup, they're just going to keep increasing, and that's huge. And so I take this episode again, like every single time I come back. I'm like, hey guys, this is what's going on. I'm just having the conversation. It's not, hey guys, we're back. We've been gone for a while, but I'm letting you know where I'm starting off again. In the next episode, I hope it's not, hey, we're back again. I hope we keep doing this. I'm starting it consistent again. But I just got done doing a conference over this weekend called Minority Innovation Weekend. It was its third year. Super inspired by, we had amazing speakers, panelists, the staff working this team, the conference. They're extremely dedicated to the mission, and I was very blessed to be able to be part of the team. They allowed me to be the speaker coordinator. What was I doing running helping to run the conference tracks while also trying to be a startup? I really wanted to be a part of Minority Innovation Weekend because it is a organization that really aligns with what I'm doing. I'm a minority founder. I'm an African American tech startup founder, and I see an organization within the ecosystem that I thought I could add value. And next year, I think that they're going to continue to do a great job, whether I'm a part of it or not. I think they're going to kill it. They just keep impressing me, and I'm very very inspired by what they're doing. So Minority Innovation Weekend was an educational tool for anyone who wanted to know how startups were created, what it takes to build a startup from the idea all the way to the exit. And they had the startup track. They had a cybersecurity track that talked about how you protect your data, what cybersecurity is in general, and how to essentially build a team and a C-suite, especially as a founder of a startup, that understands how important cybersecurity is in the world today. And also the health equities track as well, the STEM lab. They had kids out there essentially playing with robotics, looking at VR. It was absolutely amazing, and just really getting the youth excited, which a lot of them already were, but even more excited and engaged in networking within their age groups on technology. Because it's funny, I was saying that people are, well, they say the children are our future. No, I'm not going to sing. But if you've seen Coming to America, you know what I'm talking about. Pave the way. Yeah, these kids are the future. They really are. And to get them excited about technology, to get them excited about cybersecurity, or potentially starting a company and becoming an asset to the economy and showing other people how it's done. That's what it's all about. And whether they start companies or they join the federal government or they join the private sector in some capacity, it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to contribute in a positive manner. And that's really what really excited me about Minority Innovation Weekend. So they did it great this year. We're going to get word out extra early. You're hearing it here first. But we're going to get word out about Minority Innovation Weekend 2020. If you're not there, then you're square. No, I'm joking. But yeah, seriously, spread the word. It's going to be great, and you'll hear more from me on that front. But that's what I was up to, building a startup, helping to bring Minority Innovation Weekend 2019 as a conference, and dealing with like real life in the team. And we've hit obstacles, and we still exist, and we're still positive. And I think now, through all of that, we are ready once again to pick up the pieces and drive forward. And every time we do it, we take enormous leaps. So super excited. This is the next podcast that's going to be published, and the goal is to come back here 5 days a week. And whether it's an interview or it's just me running my suck and telling you about the journey of Mentorch, maybe something I read. If you're on social media, if you're on any of them, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, give me a comment if you have a topic that you want me to talk about, if you have an article that you want me to go over, and then we can kind of discuss it here and back and forth through the social channels. Let's do it. That's all I got for today. I've been running my suck for 16 minutes. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be back the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. So, with that said, this is Levante Santos, the host of Pass the Torch podcast, reminding you to seek knowledge and pass the torch.